Today in the studio, folks, I got Michael Walding, an entrepreneur, co-founder of Quantum Capital. He's the CEO and co-founder of Quantum Capital. He graduated Florida State University with 3 degrees, as well as numerous awards for outstanding performance. So you've been a badass from college.
Day one.
Day one, and you used to be a bodybuilder.
I was. I turned pro in 2 different leagues by the time I was 25.
Now, after graduating, you turned professional bodybuilding in 2 different leagues by the age of 25. Through bodybuilding, you found your career in e-commerce. Apparently make a bunch of money on that. You founded 5 online companies with combined sales over 60 mil.
Correct.
And you're the recipient of the prestigious ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club and Comma Club X. What's that?
So those are the ClickFunnels awards, which are basically sales funnels online. Russell Brunson started that company a while back.
Yeah, I know who ClickFunnels is, but I didn't know what the X, like what's Club X means.
So the ClickFunnels award is for 1 million through a single sales funnel. The X award is for 10 million. And then we're set to get the $25 million award through 1 single sales funnel this year.
Oh, cool. I just got one of those.
Nice. Which one did you get?
Just 2.
2. Nice.
Yeah, we've done over 1 million. What's funny is there's people that make tons of money on that shit. And then there's some that make nothing.
Correct.
Well, I don't think it's the click funnel that's the problem. It's the copy. It's the offer. It's the follow-up.
Definitely. There's sales and marketing. Right?
Yeah.
It's got to flow through.
People want to blame ClickFunnels or credit ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels, that's all you need. You're 1 funnel away. It's like, dude, you're going to need some copywriters.
But that's great copy, right? Yeah. You're 1 funnel away.
Oh, that's great.
But what they don't tell you is all it is just ClickFunnels is basically like Shopify.
Builder.
It's, building a website with click and drag. It's the same. When I started, I didn't know how to build a funnel. So I started with ClickFunnels where I can build my own. But what you put in there is what makes your funnel.
That's what makes it
matter. And
your
offer. Of course, if you have nothing good to sell, then it doesn't matter.
That's right. So at 32, you co-founded Quantum Capital, a never before seen hedge fund focused on not only cryptocurrency investing, but educating people on the crypto space. Now, you mentioned in the green room that you were mentored by Bob Proctor.
Correct. 1-on-1.
He just died how long ago?
Late January.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Proctor, man, he's like the grandfather of it all.
Yeah, he's the OG of mindset.
What did he believe as far as manifestation goes?
Well, over and all, his saying was thoughts become things, right? What we truly think about, not standing in the mirror and yelling, I am this or I am that. That's your conscious mind. It's your subconscious. What you think about all day is what you become, right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that's the thoughts that go through your all day that you're unaware of, right? Like, for example, if someone wants to be a millionaire, let's say you're talking to someone who already is a millionaire. They don't have to tell themselves that in the mirror of their affirmations. They are that. They live it, they breathe it, they do it, they think it, they see it, and they believe it. But if you're trying to become one, you need to be that person now. You need to think like that, act like that, be like that now. And so, thoughts come into our minds all day. Thoughts produce feelings. Feelings are vibrations. And vibrations cause actions, and actions cause reactions. So those vibrations and those actions are what you want to match your end result. So long story short, with the manifestations, you have to become what you want to be now. So you need to think, act, believe, do, and see what that type of person would be now.
So how did you meet him? I assumed you paid him to coach you.
I did for the first year. After that, he didn't want money anymore. We became very close. Actually, I got COVID really bad, laid up for a while and couldn't do much. So I was
being fit.
You got COVID from being fit?
No, you were fit.
Oh, I was. Yeah. No, I was in great shape.
And it still whacked you pretty good?
It got me pretty good. Yeah. And this was in 2020.
Did you do monoclonal antibodies? How'd you get rid of it?
I did. Well, they didn't have them at this time. This was June of 2020, August 2020. They weren't around then, but I got COVID. I'm laid up. So I went on Facebook, which I never do, scrolling around, and I saw masterclass from Bob Proctor, Q&A live. And I was like, I'm going to ask this old man some questions. He's really smart. I see him all over the place on YouTube, and I was really interested. So of course I click on it, and what is it? It's a sales funnel. And I get stuck on a salesman's call, and they call me and they're trying to pitch me on this and that. And I was like, look, I just want to talk to Bob. And they're like, yeah, so does everyone else. And I was like, well, they said, this course is for people who want to make 7 figures. And I said, well, I'm looking for the one to make 9. And they didn't have one. So I said, well, I should speak to Bob. And she's like, well, tell me a little more about your life story. And I told her about, how I was basically the run of the litter growing up and decide one day I was going to be big, and I gained 110 pounds in 5 years and turned professional in bodybuilding. The people I had up on my wall over those 5 years, I competed against and won 5 years later. And she's like, I think the story's great. I would love to tell Bob about it, and we'll see if he wants to talk to you. I thought that was her way of getting me off the phone. 30 minutes later, Bob calls and he talks to me and he says, look, I'm 88, Michael. I'm not going to mentor kids anymore. I finished with mine last year. I think I'm done. But you have a great story. Maybe we can stay in contact. And of course, I just kept talking anyway, just overcame that objection by just plowing right through it. And at the very end, he said, look, give me a few days to think about it and I'll get back to you and let you know. And I said, okay, great. But Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich that successful people make decisions fast and change them slow, if and when at all. But if you need time to make a decision, I understand. And so he laughed and he said, all right, pay me $250,000 on this call without hanging up. I said, all right, do you take Amex? And I don't know anything about Bob except what I've seen on YouTube. And then I knew one person he'd mentored from as well on Instagram that preached about him all the time. And I've seen his life change. So I was like, I felt that this was the right thing to do. It was either going to be the best thing or the worst thing I've done in a while. And so I swiped my card and we started the next week and started talking weekly. And then I had a cell phone and we would just talk sometimes daily for pushing 2 years. And it changed my entire life, and not just mine, but it changed my family's life and my friends' life around me just from seeing how I changed. And it helped take my business to new levels. And that's eventually, he helped me start Quantum Capital.
What's the number one thing you think he bestowed upon you?
Self-confidence. I thought I was confident before, but real self-confidence to me is being able to rely on yourself. If you say you're going to get up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym and you don't do it, that's destroying your self-confidence because you can't rely on you. When you say something, you have to follow through. And so you also have to know that you can do something, right? You have to believe it. And that's where faith comes in. And that's faith backed by works, right? And that comes from understanding. Understanding comes from knowledge, and knowledge comes from studying. So over the years, he helped me understand that I could do anything I wanted if I was willing to put in the work, and I believe that I could truly do it deep down. And so over those 2 years, he helped instill in me this self-confidence that was not arrogance and it was not cockiness. It was, I knew that if I decided this and I wanted to become this person, then that's who I would become.
Sure. But you've always been kind of successful. I mean, you win in bodybuilding championships, you built companies before. So you always had, before you even met him, you had a little winning streak.
I did, but I think there was a lot of things that you struggle with behind the scenes. I think we all have, our insecurities. And I think he helped me overcome a lot of those. And he was such a great teacher. I always called him Mr. Miyagi because he would never tell me the answer. Like I would ask him a question. I didn't get an answer. I got, what does Michael want? How can you do that? It was always a question with a question. And so I felt like it was this wax on, wax off thing for the next 2 years where he led the horse to water, but he always made me drink.
What was opinion of God?
So when he would talk to the masses, right, on YouTube, or he would leave it pretty empty of maybe the universe, and every once in a while he would mention God, but he believed that God was everything. God is omnipotent, and that God is everywhere and everything and is inside of all of us. So that's why we manifest our own lives, whether we know it or not. You are constantly in manifestation, and manifestation is not writing these things down and all this kind of cheesy stuff you see online. Manifestations is what comes about from your actions, your thoughts, your decisions that you make.
Thoughts, really.
Correct. Yeah.
That's where they start.
Thoughts become things, right? You have to start from here. If you don't like your results out here, you have to change the thought first. You can't change an action until you change a thought because you've never done anything before you think about it. It's impossible. So his vision of God was that he was a part of us, and that those are what the I am statements are. I am is God. Everything else after that is a description of. So we would read a lot of books together, like The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard is a great book. And it teaches that consciousness is God.
The Power of Awareness, huh?
Yeah, I studied it for a year. He was a big believer in not just reading through books, but studying the books, like his mentor, Earl Nightingale, had him do.
The Power of Awareness. Everybody better go figure that one out. I'm going to go get it right now.
And make sure you get the one with awakened imagination attached to it. It's like a 2-in-1.
The Power
of awareness.
Awareness.
Neville Goddard. Yeah, it was mind blowing. It just talks about your consciousness, that your imagination is God. The things that you can see in your mind that aren't real right now in your present self, that is God seeing through you.
Boom.
And that's what separates us from the animals, right? Where is a cheetah in its habitat, right? On the African plains. What about fish in the water, birds in the air? Where's our natural habitat? We make our own. Everything in this studio is made from somebody's imagination, especially that iPhone. That's Steve Jobs' imagination, right? So we've imagined all of this and manifested it into reality. So we can make our own reality, where animals don't do that.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about quantum capital.
Quantum capital was something I came up with Bob, pretty much when I was looking at the spiritual laws, and I was saying, hey, I want to start something in cryptocurrency that I have a passion for. I also like making money. I like helping others make money, which is what I did in e-commerce. But I wanted to offer something more than what other people do. There's so many hedge funds out there, and there's so many just real estate syndications, whatever it may be, that helps you just make money. But what do you do when you get the money? It's not a bad problem to have, but you're still stuck with more money. You keep getting more money, but now you have to know what to do with it once you develop it. So I told him I wanted to do something else. So I wanted to do basically what the law of cause and effect is, right? I wanted to give first before I receive. Zig Ziglar always says, if you help people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. So we came up with this together, is we'll help people make money in this fund. We pay 15% APY, by the way, paid out quarterly. So it's set up like a real estate syndication. So you know exactly how much you're getting and at what intervals. But once you make the money, we're going to teach you what to do with it. So that could be something as easy as how to buy and sell crypto, how to put money in your wallet, what wallets to use. So we set up our own course, and that comes with the package. And then we actually have monthly webinars where we actually teach this. So we'll teach you even how to mitigate your taxes in crypto. Most people don't know how. We'll also teach you how to stake your assets. We'll show you how to get 8% APY on your cash that's FDIC insured, right? Things that people just don't know. And where are they going to learn this? Going down the YouTube rabbit hole? Sure, but that might be wrong information. This is a one-stop shop to be able to get paid, take that money, and make more with it. We call it earning and learning, right? Or you give a man a fish, he eats for the day. But if you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So to me, that was a way to help people make money, but also teach them a skill that no one can take from them. Once you learn this, you have it forever. You can teach your friends, your family, your kids. This is a whole new asset class that's growing.
How much money have you made in it so far?
In crypto or in my life?
Yeah, in crypto. In this fund. Isn't this a fund?
The fund, yes. But I mean, how much have I made in the fund or in crypto in general?
Yeah, like are there people making hundreds of millions of dollars? Or
everyone's making 15% on their money. We set it up like a real estate syndication.
How big's the fund though?
It's about 10 million.
It's growing?
Yeah. It's only 9 months old.
So you're just kicking it off.
Yeah.
So did Bob help you think it up, or did you just want Bob to coach you through it?
No, Bob, I mean, we went over stuff together and we kind of brainstormed a lot of this. He was a pivotal part of me getting this started.
What about all the crypto taking a dive?
Well, what goes up must come down.
Yeah, but if you're heavily invested in crypto and it took a dive, how are you going to give 15%?
Great question. So what we did was we're not necessarily trading on the money. What we're doing is buying into what we call the infrastructure, right? They're called master nodes. And to keep it simple in layman's terms, we are setting up the servers for these companies, helping support the network. So when people use the network, we're getting paid little bits of it. Just like you would in a real estate syndication where someone buys a massive apartment complex and you're making money off the rent checks each month. So what we're doing is, yes, the price of that coin might go down, but we're still getting the same percentage on that anytime someone uses it. So people in crypto will call it a gas fee. Anything like that that's being used, we're always getting a certain percent. So the percent or the price may go down, the percent's still there. So our funds are already coming in. We're getting paid daily.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you sold your companies, you sold how many? 5?
No. I own 3 of them still. I sold 2.
You sold 2. Did you get a big fat check?
For one of them. The other one was pretty small. It was my first company when I was 24.
You weren't making, zillions of dollars when you sold it. So what did it feel like to get that exit, that bite?
It felt It wasn't the money at that time because it wasn't a lot back then. This was when I sold that first company. It was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, but how'd you give Bob Proctor $250,000?
By that time, I had started one of my first e-commerce businesses, and we had already done 15 million.
Oh, okay. So you had money.
Yeah.
Because again, I like to show people, hey, see, so all you got to do. But in this case, not many are going to be able to say, here's 250.
Yeah, for Bob, but also Bob's not around, so they won't be able to do that.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do it with Bob anyway. I had a buddy of mine said that he paid Bob Proctor $10,000, and he read him a book, The Science of Getting Rich.
Yep, by Wallace D. Wattles.
Yeah, and
Bob read him the book, or he read Bob the book?
Bob read him the book, basically.
Yeah,
he was bitching. People bitch sometimes about stupid shit.
They do.
Like, I'd want $100,000 to read you a fucking book myself. Like, I ain't got time to read you a book. I'd say go buy the book.
Bedtime stories.
But anyway, he said Bob probably did the same thing. This was a long time ago, where he probably just called the dude's bluff. Hey, you want coaching, you want mentoring, give me 10 G's.
Yeah.
And then by the time you did it 20 years later, however many long it's been, he says it's up to 250.
But ours wasn't reading a book. Ours was like very in depth. We talked multiple times a week, and we studied books together as well, but we studied tons of different things. So
good books. What are the best books he turned you on to?
The Science of Getting Rich is a cool book for a lot of people that are just starting out, I think. Think and Grow Rich is always going to be a staple.
Sure.
But I think The Power of Awareness is the best overall book because of how in-depth it is, but also how easy it is to read. There's certain books by like Thomas Troward, the Edinburgh Lectures. It takes me a month to figure out 1 or 2 pages. It's written in 1900. So those are pretty hard. But The Power of Awareness talks about the power of your imagination and your consciousness and how that works, and that your imagination is truly God. That's what you're able to see these visions because that's it. God lives in all of us because God is everything.
Have you ever read The Master Key System?
Is that the one by Napoleon?
No, it is by, let's see. How many damn readers? I'm getting too old. It is Charles Haanel, Hanel, The Master Key System.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going through that one. It says similar. What's funny is if you go back, to where all that was written in the 20s and 30s, and, you've got, Wallace Wattles wrote Science of Getting Rich before Napoleon Hill did.
Yep.
But it's almost like a few people had it figured out, back then. The Carnegies, the frickin'
exactly,
the Mellons, the ones that were ultra wealthy.
Success leaves clues.
Yeah. To where even this long later, same principles, man. Methods change, principles don't.
Exactly.
The principles of getting rich starts right here.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, I used to be a victim of, self-doubt, negative self-talk, hanging around the wrong people, ultimately tearing away at my self-esteem and self-worth every time I procrastinated, lied, whatever. But then when you start, applying those principles, dude, shit starts to change for you.
There's a great quote says, "Don't be caught complaining, not even to yourself." And that goes the same with self-doubt. A lot of people don't even realize what they're doing. They're like, "Oh no, I'm confident. I know I can do this." And then something will happen, be like, "I don't know why this happens to me," or I won't be able to do that, or they just think it. And that's really where, that's who you truly think you are, is in this. It's the self-talk that people don't hear out loud. Anyone can go tell everyone that they're confident, but your results are going to show if you're true confidently.
So if someone said, "Hey dude, that's me right there," you'd say, go read The Power of Awareness.
I would recommend it to everybody. Read it through, study it. I mean, there's nothing but nuggets in there.
So if people are listening, they're like, "Hey dude, I want to get more into this quantum capital, like 15% on your money." Like that sounds like too good to be true type of shit.
No, well, we can make it less for you.
You can make it what?
We can make it less for you. We can put it to 10, 8, whatever you like. But we're already going to show you where to make 8% on your money with an FDIC insured bank account. So we had to make it more attractive than that. But the fund does quite well. So 15% isn't a big deal.
Yeah. Try to get that mic a little closer, by the way. Now we're talking. Yeah. Well, a lot of listeners are going to say, what is this? Where do they go look it up? How can someone look you up?
You can find me on Instagram at whereiswalding instead of where's Waldo, or the fund, which the link is there as well on my Instagram. But you can go to quantumcapital.com, which is QWNTM. There's no vowels. So quantum, QWNTM capital.com. And you can book a call with me there, or any of my other guys, and we'll be able to walk you through it, show you the pitch deck. I mean, we'll walk you through it in depth, of course.
And ultimately, you're taking that money and you're just investing it in various cryptos, altcoins, what?
We're investing into different projects. So it's not necessarily, we're not putting into Dogecoin or anything like that. We're not trying to see these coins go to the moon, because as you see, what goes up must come down. And it happens with the stock market too, but we don't want to ride through a bear market and be down 70% and not be able to produce any income. So we're only going to invest that money in things that are going to produce passive income right away, because we want to be able to pay everyone out every single quarter, no matter what the market's doing. Sure, are we taking less each quarter because the market's down? Yeah. But it doesn't mean that we're not still making money every single day. And so we set this up knowing that there would be a bear market coming. We set this up, like I said, 8-9 months ago. And we knew that this day will come again. And when that happens, all these other hedge funds are going to lose a massive part of their portfolio. And we're not. We can ride this out, and we can also pull the money out whenever we need. But other than that, we're getting paid daily on these.
So what do you think's happening with crypto?
Well, I think there's a lot happening in the world. First of all, crypto's not regulated. So there's a lot of powers that be, exchanges, especially whales, or what they're called. People who have a lot of money in there. They can pump things up and dump them. And it's legal because it's not regulated right now. And so once crypto gets regulated, I think we'll see a lot more stabilization. But it's also going to have big swings because the market cap isn't as big as the stock market per se. Right?
How are you going to regulate it when it's decentralized?
Well, some of it's decentralized, not all of it. Most of it's still run by somebody. So they can regulate the pump and dumps. They'll be able to regulate, how people are buying and selling. The government can do a lot more than you think. All these people that are out there preaching that, that government can't touch crypto, and it can. The government can do it.
It already did.
And it already does.
It seized crypto accounts before.
Exactly. So I'm not one of those people that's not my thoughts. That's the future, right? We started out trading seashells, then we started trading out gold, and we had paper money, and then we had credit cards. Well, the future, the evolution of humans, we are going into digital currency. I don't know how many people would disagree on a digital currency. You might say, okay,
which is really just a ledger.
Right. But I'm not saying that I don't know what coin will last, and I'm not here to bet on those. I'm here to say that cryptocurrency and digital currencies will be around.
I agree with that, because the blockchain's not going anywhere.
Right. And the banks are coming up with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Everything will be digital soon. So it's best to get on now. But that's why I also don't like just betting on certain coins. Bitcoin is the only one that's truly decentralized. Everything else, there's always someone behind the scenes.
So what about if somebody's got a bunch of cash stockpiled and it's about to be digital? What's going to happen to all that cash? You're going to be able to turn it in to get your digital credits, right?
Of course. So there's on and off ramps, like most exchanges have, where you can digitalize it. So let's say you put cash into, let's use Coinbase. You put cash into Coinbase, put $100,000 in there. Then you basically buy, USDC is their coin they use, US dollar coin. So basically now you have a digital dollar per se, and that's 1-to-1 staked. So now you can go and buy things with that. Also, right now, your money is losing around 10%. That's what they say. I believe it's a little bit higher than that on inflation. So it's good to put it somewhere. Even if you can only get 8% APY, at least you're hedging.
I know a lot of people don't even understand that. They're putting their money in their bank because they're worried about it, and it's dwindling, and right, they don't even aware of it.
Yeah, it's a secret tax.
So after this thing's built, and what's your plan? Sell it?
Which part?
Quantum capital. Like what happens when there's $1 billion in there?
Well, right now, being so young, I just want to see it grow to $1 billion first. So I don't try to plan. I've realized I don't try to have these 10, 20-year plans. The world changes way too fast. In fact, Tony Robbins said it once at one of his events. It's good to have a 2-year plan, because after that, we don't know what's going to. Look at 2 years ago. COVID happened, right? March of 2020, nobody thought that would ever happen. But here we are. The world has changed. E-commerce took over. Everything went online. People were forced to do it. And that's where we were headed anyway. But COVID helped boost that along.
Sure did.
So who knows what's going to happen the next 2 years? Don't we have some new monkey virus Who knows what they'll do with that one? So I just plan for this year and next year of where we're going to go. And of course, I mean, we all have goals, life goals, but you can't be too rigid in that plan because the way to get there might change a bunch along the way.
So I got a bunch of entrepreneurs listening, people out there running businesses, trying to freaking get to the next level. What have you learned in your history that could help them get past some sort of ceiling they may have?
Any ceiling you may have is a mental ceiling. So your thoughts become things. And if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And what I mean by that is what you constantly think about, you will become. And so I would go and do an audit of what I think all day. So just use your note section in your phone, I think is the easiest. So you can keep track with it. And just all day, when you're randomly just sitting there, write down what you're thinking about, what goes through your mind. There's no good or bad, just whatever you're thinking about. And then throughout maybe a week or so, figure out what's the common themes. Do I think about success? Do I think I can do this? Or do I always think that I'm going to fail? Am I always worried? Is there always doubt, fear, all of this? And then that's what you're going to need to work on. So that's what I think everyone should do, basically what I call a thought audit and go through that. So that's, I think, going to be the biggest thing because nothing is going to change until you do.
There's a bomb. That's a fact too.
It's a fact.
Most people don't want to change, but they want to change, which is crazy because it's like, I don't want to change, but what do you want? Well, whatever they say they want, well, that's changing.
Right.
But they won't do it. And when the confusion sets in, they can't figure out why shit's not going on. It's mainly because at the end of the day, dude, you don't actually want what you think you want, because if you did, you would act differently.
Correct. Your conscious mind
would
wants
be
it,
differently,
not your subconscious mind. Your interactions must match your desire.
Yeah, I wish there was like a school where someone could just go to this school and boom, you come out doing that. Because then, man, we could just live in a world more successful. Everybody's kicking ass, taking names.
Exactly. I mean, I think Bob and a handful of people in that realm have done a great job of teaching people. I mean, I'm an example right here of being able to learn what to do. Basically, you can have whatever you want if you're willing to change for it.
Do the work.
Have the interchange. Yeah.
I'm coming out with an apparel company called Goat Work.
Goat, like greatest of all time?
Yeah. Well, it's got a cool looking goat head logo, but it's just called Goat Work. And the reason why is because I tell people, if you want to be the goat, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So we just came out with Goat Work clothing. It's going to be cool.
And we see stuff like Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant and all these people, and you're like, oh, wow, like they're these great players, but you don't see the stuff behind the scenes. You don't see the amount of work they put in.
They put in the work.
They put in the work. They sacrifice.
At the end of the day, especially even just the simplest thing like getting in shape.
Yeah.
Like, dude, getting in shape is really simple to know how. Like, Google will tell you, you'll tell me, a million people will tell you how to get in shape, but very few do it because they don't do the work. They're rationalizing why it's too tough, and they really think mentally this is tough. I've been doing it for 6 weeks. I've had people come in and they see me eating the same meals. Prep. My wife's prepping the meals for me.
Not sexy.
It's not sexy. It's not. I got Frank's Red Hot, and I don't even like hot sauce. So people said, "Is that hard?" And I'm like, eating food. Like, dude, if you can't control what you're putting in your mouth, how the fuck are you going to control anything?
Exactly.
So I got to a point where I'm like, dude, I'm done with this bullshit because number one, being in shape, dude, everything lights up.
Yeah.
Number two, just health-based. You want to live longer. Number three, mental clarity comes into play. Number four, you can't buy it. So people respect you just looking at you like, dude, obviously that dude's fit, which means you have discipline, and that's the core of it all. Discipline. Like if you can apply discipline in all areas of your life, you'll thrive in all areas of your life. Yep. It's discipline. You just have to have the discipline. It's either you don't know or you don't think you deserve it.
Exactly.
If you don't know, there's people that do.
And I always tell people discipline comes with sacrifice. So if you're not willing to give up what you're doing now to get that, you won't have it. Because if you keep doing what you do, you'll keep getting what you get.
100%.
And that's how I got with Bob. And that's why I convinced him to be able to do it. Is my bodybuilding story is what really set the tone for the rest of my life. When I started out, I weighed 120 pounds. I was the smallest kid. I tried working out. I couldn't gain any weight. Right. Couldn't gain any weight. because I wasn't at that time disciplined and putting in the sacrifices. So when I stopped going out with people on the weekends, when after school I would come home and drink a weight gaining shake, and in between my classes I would eat a sandwich between every single class, right? 7 of them a day, and eating 2 weight gainer shakes a day, training in the morning, training at night, not going out at all of a sudden I put on 35 pounds. Right? It's not a genetic thing. Then people come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're just a genetic freak." No, I'm a discipline freak. And I'm willing to sacrifice these times of, where you're going out on the weekend with your friends and you're doing this and doing that and going all over the place to have one singular focus, right? Where focus goes, energy flows. And so I, 5 years later, weighed 240 pounds. And that's where it all comes from. And my bodybuilding coach, he said, when I first met him, I said, "Oh, I can't eat this amount of food." This is eating 8 meals a day. I said, "Oh, I can't eat meals. I only do 4. And he's like, "I'll teach you how to eat 8 meals. There's a secret." We always teach people. So he sits me down. He's got the meal, and this is a big secret that bodybuilders know. And he said, "Take your spoon and you fill it all the way. And then you put it in your mouth and you chew it. And then when you're done, you swallow it. And you just keep doing that until it's gone." And that's the trick. Is you just open your mouth and you chew and you just keep going until it's done, and stop telling yourself that you can't do it, because it's not a talent. It's not dunking a basketball. He didn't ask you to do a backflip. He asked you to just open your mouth and chew it and swallow it and continue on. And every 2.5 hours when that alarm rings, you eat again. When you leave places, you bring a cooler with you.
Whether you want to or not.
Exactly. What you want is the goal. You got to fall in love with the process along the way, but the process sometimes sucks. Right? You're not enjoying every day. I did not enjoy every day of bodybuilding, but I enjoyed over 51% of it. And it was driven by my desire to turn pro and to prove to myself that I could do it. And I could prove to myself that I could beat the guys that were hanging up on my wall. And that is what drove me to eat the meals. That drove me to stay in on the weekends, and to miss out on a lot of things.
Did you have to eat tilapia?
Yeah, tons of that. I used to smell like tilapia.
Nasty.
I mean, when I would compete some shows.
I don't want to be in that good a shape if it's required.
There's other fish now, though.
I ain't doing fish unless it's once in a while.
I didn't have any money, though, so there was a difference. You can get nicer food if you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I like bison.
Yeah. I like most meat, just not.
And then they say, you're not supposed to put ketchup on it. Well, fuck it, sugar-free, bro. Well, you're not supposed to. Well, then I guess I'll be less than, because I'm not going that extreme.
No.
To me, it's like, dude, you got to live a little.
Of course.
It's like the guy who makes a bunch of money but doesn't spend any. Well, then who the fuck cares? You're making so much. You don't spend it. You don't use it. You're just socking it away for some other day.
Energy. It's meant to circulate.
And then you die. And then, I gave it to my friends. No, how about enjoy a little of it? Yeah. Like when it comes to bodybuilding, I don't know if I'll ever be, on a stage. Because guess what? I ain't giving up freaking the ranch.
But do you have goals of how you want to be fit? Or you just work it out and see what happens?
10% body fat.
See, there you go. So when you don't need to eat X and Y to get to that, you just need to train, be disciplined. You don't have to not go out with your wife on the weekend and eat dinner.
Yeah.
So,
well, for the first 12 weeks, I have to, because I'm all in or all out. Yep. Meaning, like, if I miss one of my meals, well, fuck, I already fucked it up. I might as well not work out today. And I'll do that. Yeah. Like, dude, it's either I did it or I didn't do it.
You got to restart.
I was in or out. Like, if I screwed up, and I've screwed up a million times, if I screwed up, it would be like, now I'm going to really screw up. But those were back in the day. Now I'm a little bit more wise. Now I think you apply a little bit of discipline, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get momentum. It becomes a habit, which makes it much easier to do.
Consistency.
Yeah. And then you just freaking decide to change your lifestyle. So like when I'm done doing this 12-week thing, that's what kicked it off. But when I'm done doing the 12-week thing, I'll already be in the habit of eating 6 times a day, choosing wiser things.
Yep.
And then after it's over, and you're in tip-top shape, now, throw a little sauce on
tilapia.
There. No, I ain't never doing that.
No, but like
I'd give up right now if that was required.
What you just said, right? You have discipline over time, which is consistency, right? Discipline over time gives momentum, which is consistency. If you can stay consistent, eating 75% of what you're doing now, you will still have better results in 10 to 12 months than you would in 3 months.
Yeah.
Just because of the time. And that's what a lot of people do in life is they think they crush it for 1 month, whether it's in their sales role or, they've been doing their meditations for 1 month or been going to the gym for 1 month, whatever it may be. And that's great. And you should celebrate the small wins, but you got to keep doing it over time. You got to turn things into a lifestyle.
So you said, when I said, if there's someone listening, you said, what was it you said?
Do a thought audit.
Oh yeah, thought audit.
Figure out what you truly think about.
Okay, so no, do a thought audit. Now what?
Now, well, let's give an example, right? Someone, you decide that you do have negative thoughts about yourself.
We all do.
Right. Then that's where now you want to go and study, because studying is going to increase your knowledge. Knowledge is going to increase your understanding. Your understanding is going to increase your faith in yourself, which we talked about earlier, self-confidence. So that's what you need to build back up. And that's where studying those books, The Power of Awareness is a great one. Think and Grow Rich is a great one. And don't read the book through. Just read a chapter for a month. Read it over and over again. And when you understand it, when you can live it. So like I'll read a chapter in Power of Awareness. I'm reading one right now called Free Will. And I'll study it in the morning for 10, 15 minutes. It's 5 pages. The book's small. I'll read it and then I'll go and try to live it. And you make mistakes. You're not perfect on it. And then you go back at night and I'll read it again and say, how did I do that today? How can I grade myself today? And you don't have to be super judgmental, but I'm always constantly doing these little audits to see how well I'm doing. Otherwise, if you never look back to see how you're doing, you're just constantly moving forward without a grade. So I do these little things called success logs where I go, okay, what are 3 things I did well today? Always start with your do wells. We always want to look at the things we didn't do well. Like you said, oh, I missed a meal today. All right. Well, yeah, but if you got 7 or if you got 5 out of the 6 meals, you did great. So celebrate those first. Okay. After your first 3 meals. All right. And then how well did I do on my process goals, right? What are the things I do every day that are going to get me to my goal, right? Just a 1 to 10. What's one thing I'm going to work on tomorrow to be better? And then how am I going to do that? That's the important thing. What actionable item, right? It may be adding in the gym for an hour tomorrow because you missed it today. Okay, great. Get your calendar out and put it in your calendar. And then, how well did I do with my thoughts today? When I see that they're going off the way they shouldn't, was I able to bring them back? That's raising your conscious awareness. So those few questions, I write them on my phone, on my note section, I answer them. It takes me 4 or 5 minutes. I do that every night. And that's a tiny little audit that I do over my day and how I'm going to be better at the next day.
Are you married or anything?
No.
So your whole day is basically yours.
All mine.
What's your day look like?
I wake up at 5. I go over my meditation for about 15 minutes. I go to the gym, come back. I do my reading. I do a little mental workout where I visualize my goal, see myself there, feel it, right? It's all about the feeling, not just seeing. That's called daydreaming. So I see myself there and then I visualize doing my day. So I'll look at my calendar and I'll close my eyes and I'll visualize my day and me completing all those tasks, right? Like I've already seen myself doing this with you. I've watched these many times. I know exactly what these seats look like.
How'd it go?
Seen all of this. Crushed it. So you should always be winning in the goals. So your brain wants to finish these loops, right? Your brain starts something, it wants to finish it. So I'm finishing it already in my brain. And this is, like I said, 5 minutes long. I just picture this and it's also great. Puts you in a good mood and a good vibration. Then I go over 3 things I'm grateful for, right? Keep yourself in that high vibration. A state of gratitude is the state of receivership. And so, like I said, I know I just named a few things, but it's maybe 10 minutes. And then I start my day. And depending on what day it is, I might be working on one business, might be working on the fund, whatever it may be. And then at the end of the day, I do my little audit as well for 5 minutes. I go over things I'm grateful for that happened to me that day, right? So I try to give thanks for everything. Sometimes things happen to us that we don't like, but they're meant for us.
You don't ever forget
of what happened in the day?
When I always find it hard to believe when people say, every morning I do this. And it's like, you just picture the dude in his place alone, waking up and writing in his journal. But I guess,
I do mine in my head.
You got to forget sometimes to do it.
Well, I write it down. It's planned I live by my calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. So at 5 a.m., there's my 3 little things till 5:30, gym, 30 more minutes. And that's my hour of personal time.
You got a good calendar app or you just use the phone?
I use the Google Calendar app. I think it works great.
You just schedule your shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Time block.
So I basically have 1 hour day of the gym, 4 days a week, and then 1 hour day of personal time. And then at the end of the night, there's another 5 minutes and that's it. But I always try to wake up and end the day with being grateful for things that I have in my life and things that have happened to me that day. Whether or not I like them at that time, I give thanks for them because I think life happens for us, and that eventually those things, I'm sure you've had things happen in your life that at the time weren't great, but you look back years later and they help develop the person that you are now. So I'm always giving thanks.
But that's just a positive way of looking at things.
Correct.
You know, I feel the same way, but like when, you know, it happened to us, not for us, or it happened for us, not to us. When I hear that one, I'm not so sure about that. Like, you know,
it's up to you to decide that.
I know, but somebody walks up and, you know, stabs your, you know, child and they die, you know, that happened for you.
I'm
like,
talking more about in business. You made a decision, you lost money on X because you made the wrong decision.
I know, but like right now,
you learn from that.
14 kids just got mowed down.
Agreed.
With the school shooting. That happened for them. Their parents, they should just think that happened for you. No. Although, give it 5 years, someone will say, yes, it did, because if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened, and yada, yada, yada. But to me, that's just a perspective. You know, you can look at it either way. The question is why would you look at it any other way if it's just a choice and a perspective? Because a perspective is really a choice.
True, but your perception is your reality, right? Not the reality, but it's yours. And you can choose to see it as bad, and it is at this time. And I'm not saying any of these things might not be bad in your life, but if that's what you want to focus on, how is that ever going to help you? Right? I'm not saying you're going to forget it. I'm not saying there's not going to be pain or suffering. None of that. I'm not here to judge how people feel. But I'm telling you, if you just want to focus on the negative of things, nothing great's going to come from it then. So I choose to harvest the good and forgive the rest. You have to go, we all go through pain and suffering, and we all do the best we can, but I want to get the best out of everything. So I want to, what Bob always said, harvest the good and forgive the rest from every situation, the best that you can. You learn and you move on.
Now, you got a book coming out or no?
Not at this time, but I will have an autobiography in a handful of years. I just turned 33 a few days ago. I want to have a few more life experiences first.
So what is your goal?
My goal right now is I want to be the Ray Dalio style of cryptocurrency. I love that he has the world's largest hedge fund, but he gives back. He right now, all he does is teach people, right? He's not out selling anything. He's got a book, but he's not pushing things down someone's throat. He's here to help people. He teaches you about economics, teaches you about finance, teaches you about making decisions. The New World Order book is great. I like that he took his wisdom from his 72 years of life and is giving back through that. So I believe by the time I reach that age or even younger, I will have that to be able to give back to others and use the vehicle of cryptocurrencies and hedge funds of having made people tons of money to put me up on that pedestal to be able to speak to the masses. And I think with what Bob taught me as well, I think I will have a lot to give.
Well, and you're out of Miami, Florida.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
It's a long flight. You came out here to hang out for your birthday.
Yeah,
enjoy
I like
Vegas.
to get a few things done. Work and pleasure at the same time is good.
Do you do that wherever you go?
I try to make everything. I try to be productive and also have fun at the same time and take a break.
But I mean, like if you're like, hey, I got to go out to Dallas, you try to find other things to schedule while you're there?
Yeah.
Just to be a kind of a productive individual?
Productive, but also to enjoy different parts of life. Like if it's Dallas, you know, I've been there twice before, but if I'm going to go again, I want to see something I haven't seen. You know, what can I experience in this city? How can I grow as a person? How can I maybe just get some time to relax? Maybe I meet some new people, but also get some work done. And I think changing your environment a lot too helps you grow and keeps you fresh.
Now, who taught you all this other than Bob?
Just myself going through life and Bob. I mean, I've read plenty of books.
Because at 33, man, I was a jack off. I wasn't this awake, you know, so you're doing good. I'm pretty sure you'll kick ass the rest of the
It's
journey.
Wanting to be awake, right? It's wanting to focus on your conscious awareness. So I'm always studying these books. Bob kickstarted a lot of this, and I will continue on with this journey of, you know, raising my conscious awareness. And so if that's something you want to do, then we can all do it. I don't think age matters. It's just most people at this age aren't concerned about that.
So if people want to find you, just go to quantumcapital.com. That's QWNTM, or Michael Walding Jr.com.
And at Where is Walding on Instagram.
Yeah, at where, and you're saying Walden or Walding?
Walding, Walding.
Yeah. Where is Walding on Instagram? You guys go follow his ass.
Message me there.
Looking forward to watching you blow up that hedge fund. Hopefully you won't get stung in the like whatever's coming. Because man, they say there's some shit coming.
There's always some shit coming.
And that's another thing. Like, everybody's all, ooh, we're going into this recession and everybody's broke, but yet there's lines out the door of Louis Vuitton. Like everybody seems to have money.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the media feeds you.
But I'm not seeing this recession. I'm seeing everything being just fine.
When was the last time the media didn't say there was something coming? That's how they make money.
Don't you think eventually, dude, someone needs to pull their plug?
I do. I mean, that's why I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news.
You don't?
No.
Turn off the hate and the headlines.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you don't want to figure out some events that are going on, but most of it is just fear mongering. Most of it is trying to stir up emotions. How is that going to be productive to my day? If I'm trying to stay in a state of joy and gratitude and peace, and here I am watching the news, that most of that stuff is not going to affect me. So it doesn't do any benefit to my life.
You're a good man, dude. Folks, as always, till next time, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.